He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers 1,000 enemies. Machiavelli. They never tell you how dangerous caring can be. They teach you to be kind, to be giving, to open your heart. And then one day you realize that the same heart you opened has been used as a doorway. People walk in, take what they need, and leave footprints of guilt behind. I learned that lesson the hard way, in a meeting that smelled like fake empathy. Everyone smiled, everyone agreed, until the room turned cold. Suddenly, I wasn't part of their plan. My ideas, brilliant yesterday, too intense today. That's when I realized I was losing not because I lacked skill, but because I cared too much. Caring makes you predictable. When you care deeply, they know what buttons to push. They know your triggers, your need for approval, your hope to be understood, your hunger for connection. And once they know your buttons, they own your mind. That's how control works. Not with violence, not with force. With expectations. Machiavelli would call it emotional dependency, when your peace depends on someone else's reaction, and that's where power dies. When life betrays you, and it will, your biggest mistake will be fighting to prove your innocence instead of learning from the manipulation. Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward good hearts. It rewards strategic minds. So here's the first rule of ruthless strength. Stop caring about being understood. Start caring about being unshakable. Every time you stop explaining, you regain power. Every time you stay silent when provoked, you earn control. Every time you stop chasing clarity from people who thrive on your confusion, you evolve. What would you do if you could turn every disappointment into data? Would you still beg to be seen, or would you start building quietly? This is the shift. From emotional dependence to psychological detachment. From being played to becoming unreadable. You don't owe anyone your reaction. You owe yourself your stability. Caring too much isn't love. It's exposure. The moment someone can move your emotions, they can move your decisions. And that's how control begins. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn to act against mercy, against faith, against humanity, and against religion, when necessary to maintain power. He didn't mean cruelty for cruelty's sake. He meant control over compassion, when compassion becomes a liability. Most people don't fail because they're bad. They fail because they feel too much. They can't separate heart from strategy. They think detachment is heartless. It's not. Detachment is discipline. When you detach, you stop reacting to how things should be and start responding to how things are. You stop saying, "That's unfair," and start asking, "How can I use this?" That's the shift from emotional victim to mental ruler. I once worked with a man who could smile through chaos. People thought he didn't care. They were wrong. He cared strategically. He would observe people's anger, their gossip, their fragile pride, and store it all like ammunition. While others wasted energy reacting, he was mapping the room. When the time came to make his move, no one saw it coming. That's detachment in practice. Quiet observation while others bleed emotion. The weak equate reaction with passion. The strong equate silence with control. You can't be both emotional and strategic at the same time. Emotion clouds perception. Detachment sharpens it. When someone betrays you, don't try to fix their perception. Study it. It's free data. They just revealed what they value. And it's not you. That's intelligence. That's clarity. So the next time your heart wants to chase, pause. The next time you want to explain, stop. The next time you want to prove your worth, observe instead. Because every second you stay still while others panic, you increase your power by tenfold. This is how the Machiavellian mind operates. Calm, distant, unreadable, yet always in control. Let's be clear. Detachment isn't built overnight. It's forged through repetition, through pain, betrayal, and silence. The human mind is addicted to closure, validation, belonging. It craves warmth, even from the fire that burns it. That's why people go back to what broke them. They confuse pain with meaning. But once you see the game, you can't unsee it. You begin to understand that emotional dependence is the oldest form of slavery. The chains aren't visible, they're chemical. Every time you check your phone for a reply, every time you replay what someone said, you're reinforcing the chain. You want to be ruthless? Then train your mind to delay its emotional reaction. A few seconds of pause, that's where your power lives. Don't speak when you're angry. Don't comfort when you're uncertain. Watch your emotion like a scientist watches a specimen. That's the Machiavellian way. Study the reaction, don't live inside it. When you detach, you'll feel guilt. The world will call you distant, cold, changed. They'll say, "You don't care anymore," and you'll nod, because that's the point. They want you soft because soft people are easy to mold. They fear your silence because they can't decode it. They resent your calm because they can't control it. That's when you know you're evolving. When your peace offends people who once thrived on your chaos. I remember cutting contact with someone who once made me feel alive. It wasn't hate. It was clarity. Every message, every memory, every feeling, gone. Not because they didn't matter, but because I finally did. Detachment is not rejection. It's redirection of energy, focus, and dominance. So every morning, ask yourself this: who still has emotional access to me? If the answer isn't only me, then your power is still leaking. Train your mind to become your fortress. You don't need thicker skin, you need stronger boundaries. One night you'll sit alone, no noise, no validation, no one to text, and it'll hit you. You've been measuring your worth through other people's attention your whole life. That's when detachment becomes liberation. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the cold, because the cold are consistent. They don't sway with emotion. They don't collapse under pressure. They remain calculating while everyone else burns out. Here's the paradox. The colder you become, the clearer you see. Detachment sharpens perception until manipulation becomes obvious. You start noticing patterns, the guilt language, the passive-aggressive comments, the invisible leashes people throw around your neck, and you stop biting. You stop giving emotional food to emotional predators. When people realize they can no longer trigger you, they panic. They'll call you arrogant. They'll test you, provoke you, bait you, because your calm feels like humiliation to them. That's when you stay silent, because silence is not weakness. It's a message. You no longer have access. This is the moment of psychological power Machiavelli lived for, when perception becomes your weapon. You don't need revenge, you need mastery. Revenge reacts. Mastery recalibrates. You start planning moves, not moods. You start choosing where your energy lands. You stop explaining and start executing. The world will say, "You've changed." They're right. You stopped being available for manipulation. You stopped worshiping connection over control. This is your turning point, when the mind stops craving comfort and starts commanding the battlefield. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, remember this: if they can make you feel, they can make you fall. If they can't move your mind, they can't move your life. Detachment isn't the absence of feeling, it's the presence of control. It means you still care, you just don't crumble. You still feel, you just don't follow. You still love, but never at the expense of logic. That's what makes the detached mind terrifying. It's unpredictable, unreadable, unreachable, and in a world built on emotional bait, that makes you free. Machiavelli understood that the strongest ruler isn't the one with armies, but the one who commands perception. First his own, then others. When you detach from needing validation, you become immune to manipulation. People will test your boundaries. They'll push to see if the old version of you still exists. They'll throw nostalgia, guilt, and flattery at you. Smile. Say nothing. You're not playing their game anymore. Because the ultimate form of strength isn't dominance over others, it's dominance over self. A calm mind is a weapon. A silent man is a storm. This is how you win without fighting. You don't react. You reposition. You don't chase. You attract. You don't explain. You execute. From now on, Your peace is non-negotiable. Your focus is sacred. Your emotions belong to you and no one else. So train your mind to be ruthlessly strong, not by becoming heartless, but by becoming unshakable. The world doesn't need your kindness. It respects your control. And if you've felt that shift inside you, that cold, calm power, comment this now. I control what I feel. I control what I become. That's the beginning of true Machiavellian mastery, where emotion becomes fuel, not weakness, where silence becomes strategy, where you stop reacting to life and start ruling it.